what moves can we make to steal back our liberty and break this bipartisan chokehold? Your position was this, that how do we get to the base of this problem? You blame the media. We go on a rant about how we are manipulated. It's clear in so many more aspects than just a good ad or whatever's appeal. It's everywhere. And it's the serpent that's always got itself wrapped around you. It's everywhere. I do agree with your point. The media is the moving mechanism that they use to carry out the job. But the reality is, I don't think the end source of the problem is the media. I think they are the fingers to the true problem. Mm-hmm. And I think the true problem is bipartisanship, right? Or it's bigger than that. Because I think both sides of the aisle are controlled by the same entity. So I want to get to the heart of the point of, you're never going to just dismantle two parties. It's going to be just like the game is, they've taken little by little, inch by inch, slowly move the goalpost. We got to play the same game back the other way, tug of war. So first you go, we need to have four parties, straight up. You got to have a Green Party, you got to have a Libertarian Party, the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans and the Democrats will forever be against that. Exactly. Why? Because they have a monopoly on politics. Mm-hmm. That alone should tell you why this is a priority. How do you accomplish something like that? Why do the Democrats hate Tulsi Gabbard? Now, you and I have built a shared praise and appreciation for Tulsi Gabbard. The reality is, the listener, the ignorant human, whoever tells us you're a Republican, you're a conservative. Why? Because we're not Democrat. Mm-hmm. We're real liberals. So when you look, isn't it funny? The same Trumpers that should be deplored are the ones praising Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat. I think because truly the real human who wants what's good sees how she is the answer. Mm-hmm. The reality is, you need somebody with military service. She's definitely very attractive. She is so incredibly well-spoken, it's incredible. And then that's just the surface. When you break into this woman's politics, she is quite literally the most level-headed and reasonable person available. Is she the best American? We got a tribe of 350 million. Mm-hmm. She is quite literally not. But it also is not Hillary Clinton, right? So when you look at look at the choices we have available to us, James, the system hates her. Both sides. Now you got to start being interested. You got to ask yourself why. This woman was the most avid against the Clintons. So the Democrats hate her, but she's a Democrat. Her own party hates her. Mm-hmm. In fact, she has more relationships with Republicans than Democrats. Why? Because she does what's right, not what the party mandates. Furthermore, this is somebody who talks to both sides of the aisle, and that's why you got this pushback. Mm-hmm. So what I see the virtue in Tulsi Gabbard also is that she doesn't care about the team. It's the issue. What's the best, when we're talking about gun rights or abortion, which both topics have no relationship with each other at all, so it shouldn't be binary. Mm-hmm. She is willing to vote with her heart and not her party, so her party hates her. Now, I want to cut to a clip real quick that you and I are pretty well versed on, where Tulsi Gabbard's claim to fame is completely destroying Camel Lady, our vice president.
Our wonderful
I won't say her name right because it somehow became some stupid big issue. And the reality is, lady, I would love to see you attempt to say my last name. Try it. Try it. Dude, I've been called a rat. 2 G's, both silent. Yeah, you nailed it. Nobody can say my last name. Does that make me a victim? Does that make me special? Does somebody need to come hold my hand or I'm oppressed? No, you clown. This is all just social currency and you're exploiting us. You're not a real human being. So why? So hence, Camel Lady. Back to the point. No, the reason Camel Lady had to recuse herself from the election. She was running for president, not vice president. She was running for president.
And while she was running for vice president, also said she believed all of Biden's sexual
Right.
assault.
Wait, no, we're going to get to that. I'm glad you raised that.
Yeah.
So why did she pull herself out of the race? Because Tulsi Gabbard absolutely destroyed her. What's also funny, same primary, James, we're not going to show this one. Camel Lady is the one that goes on a huge rant destroying Biden. Same debate. But again, nobody watches the debates in their entirety. Nobody remembers all this stuff, so it's totally forgotten and lost.
And then the irony of it all, it's like she was picked to be vice president for one reason. Because
she's playable.
Yep.
She's a pawn.
Yep, exactly. This is a minority.
So,
this is a black vice president.
Yeah, right. We got to get to the
woman black vice president who has
quick.
credibility.
Let's cut to the clip. They got to see the clip.
Yeah.
Right. So real quick, check out the clip. Then there you have some basis of like where we're coming from in the conversation. So real quick,
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
I didn't. Well, the first thing I said to you about the clip is I just think it's so ironic. She says she created reform. Well, yeah, she created reform, but guess what? Reform can be bad, too. And guess what? Kamala? Your reform was terrible. She was.
I also like the point you made. She said nothing.
She said but she was talking
to distract you.
Yeah. So Tulsi calls her out. This woman's talking for 1 minute about nothing. I looked at you and I go, what did she just say? I go, what did she just say? She didn't say anything. The only thing was she created some type of reform, which again I said was so incredibly just. Now, terrible. She was putting, and she was for the minorities. She was for this, for that. She was putting black dads in jail for over a year for a gram of marijuana.
Boom.
A gram. And then Tulsi goes.
And laughs about it.
When she was asked about it, she gave her. I did. Yeah, bitch, you did that. It's like.
So there's two layers to this. The surface is it reads bad. She's just the way she presents it is terrible and everything. But I also love the logical conundrum of her response to Tulsi is Tulsi goes, "You laughed about smoking weed and putting black dads away, taking them away from their family." Her response to being called out to that, while distracting you with flowery language that is cognitively untethered, it literally means nothing. While distracting you with that, what she presents logically is, Tulsi says, you put black fathers away for marijuana while also laughing about the fact that you use marijuana. Her response, well, from all of my experience from doing all of this in my job, doing what's good for the people, I learned that this is a problem. And now I am an advocate against marijuana laws. Wait. So logically, you're saying you're now against marijuana laws. Why? Conceding that you what? Enforced unjust laws? Is that what your concession is?
I wouldn't even say unjust. I would say
that's the language I'm hearing. The unspoken words I'm hearing.
I would say just so incredibly unfair. Like just
unjust.
I know unjust, but if you say this is
unfair,
like just so incredibly.
What if you said
profound.
I have this new political opinion because what I was doing was unfair?
Yeah. No,
are you conceding then?
That's one of the main problems in our country, though. All of our lawmakers and all these people are making laws on something that they've never experienced, that they don't know what.
But she did experience. She laughed because she smoked weed.
Yeah.
And she did experience putting these fathers away through prosecution of something she personally partakes in and enjoys. So what's funny is when they look at her and go, you put people away for this, your response is, and now I think it's bad. Wait. So you're admitting what you were doing was bad. If Tulsi's saying what you did at time X was bad, your response is not allowed to be, because what I was doing at time X was bad, I want to take position Y now. Wait, no, the point is that your history was bad. So I think we need to wrap this up. We need to get to the final thoughts. To answer the question, how do you break this? You raised this before the podcast. This is what I wanted to acknowledge is the heart of the point. Why I think Tulsi Gabbard's the answer. She isn't the answer. She's the beginning of the answer. Too many times I had these conversations with my dad. It's so very clear to the person that you're talking with that, yeah, there's a problem. But what are you going to do? You're not going to move a mountain, right? Back to why you moving a pebble, it ain't going to move the mountain. Back to the butterfly effect. The reality is, if you let them win, if you let them totally embody the fact that it's a wasted vote, it's a wasted vote. You didn't vote for Gary Johnson because it was a wasted vote. You didn't vote for Tulsi Gabbard because it was a wasted vote. They took away your ability to vote for Bernie, so you voted for Trump. They took away your ability to vote for Bernie again and Tulsi, so you voted for Trump. So, but you're the bad guy who hates X demographic. The reality is this, dude. You cannot allow people to convince you of the fact that it's a wasted vote. You only get one if you live it and embody it. I know that back in the day it was this whole thing of it's something you don't talk about. It's something that there's truth to that. There's a lot of value in it. But the grand scheme is you can't be a chameleon, always trying to appeal. You got to be willing to make people uncomfortable. We've been so trained to make people as comfortable as possible that now we're just catering to delusions. So I'm not saying you got to go to every house party and be like, yeah, but then the Russians, man. You don't need to be that person. But also when you're confronted with something, stop putting on the mask of I'm just going to agree with them to get it. This is a Saturday night, May 3rd, 2019. I'm just trying to get through the night. Yeah, dude, we should have everybody call each other Z's or YQPP. Like, whatever. So you agree because it isn't worth the headache.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is now you've made the headache bigger than it can ever be, and it can't go away. How do you get rid of that headache? You vote with your heart. Don't listen to me that Tulsi's the answer. But don't be lazy. Everybody wants a political opinion, but nobody wants to do the political homework. So you also then just can't be involved. If you don't like hearing that, if you don't like that answer, then that means you got to get your ass involved. That means you got to go read. You got to become proactive in this fight. I talk about it all the time on the podcast, goldfish syndrome. The reason we're able to totally distract you from the fallacies and illogical backing of COVID with another World War III is because you have no memory retention. None of this. How many coincidences until mathematically impossible? If you're not keeping track of all the coincidences, you're never going to keep track of the fact that, like, wait, this isn't a coincidence, dude.
Exactly.
So I don't think Tulsi's the answer. But I think if we can start training people to Tulsi is never getting the DNC backing.
Do you think any politician is ever going to be the answer, though? Like,
but again, it's not going to be The Rock, dude. So what you do is you take but I'm saying you politician. I'm not picking a movie star either. I'm done with the CBS or NBC talk show host. Just like you had your comments about the Ukraine TV host. We had a TV host as president, and everybody revered him or absolutely hated him.
Yep.
The reality is, dude, you need to just pay more attention to the people to the people that the system hates. Crenshaw. Why doesn't the system like him? Because he's got a little bit too much liberal stuff to say for a conservative. Why do they not like Tulsi? Because she's got a little bit too much conservative stuff to say for a liberal. She speaks against the party. She's holding the party accountable. She's never going to get the party's backing. So the right answer is never going to be there because the people who have the monopoly control are never going to hand it to us. They're never going to hand it to us. That means you have to take it. That's how it goes. So, I don't know, man. That's where I leave it. I don't think Tulsi's the answer, but my answer to the question is Tulsi. Because to me, she's the one that my dad would say is the wasted vote. What are you doing? And she's the one that I'm going to put my vote towards unless somebody changes my mind here coming up. Because the message of we're done playing blue and red.
Okay, but I
options.
totally understand that. But how do you feel when you see the election results?
You're gonna lose, dude.
I know,
But also, how about this? How about this, dude? I'm gonna have the number on the screen because I want it fact checked by future me editing
the
in my
fact
basement.
checkers, actual fact checkers,
The real rethink
fact check
checkers.
themselves. Yeah.
I have on the screen now. How many votes went to Kanye West? Okay, that was real. That was a wasted vote.
I know.
You don't think those people were making a statement in and of itself to themselves more than anything?
I feel like everyone that voted
lesser-
for Kanye that was
if
just
you're
trying to
playing
make
a
like
game,
a mockery of it,
Yeah, but if the game you're playing is the lesser of two evils, you've already lost. Acknowledge statistics, numbers, folks, out of 350 million, an incomprehensible number. You're telling me the best we got is two terribles, but the less of two terribles? We deserve to have the conundrum when election day rolls around. Damn, these two options are so
amazing.
Good
It's a tough
that I win no matter what. Ask yourself why that isn't your problem. It's not because it isn't possible. It's because the people in control won't let it be because then they no longer have control. Thanks for checking out this clip taken from episode 72 of the Rethink Tank podcast out on YouTube now. If you want to check out the full episode, you can go to our YouTube channel. But if you want to check out the full episode and all the rest of our content, you can always go to our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Again, guys, if we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you can do to support this podcast is hit that share button. Otherwise, we would appreciate it if you clicked on over to check out the full episode. That way you could slide over into the comments and let us know your thoughts. We're all about that open discourse. But otherwise, guys, thanks for your time, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
we gotta preserve it.